Greetings everyone, welcome to Chess Advanced, and this game is from the Blitz section of the Grand Chess Tour Finals, where two classical games, two rapid games have ended, and two classical games were drawn, and two rapid games. Here, Maxime won the first game. Pragg was supposed to bounce back with the white pieces in the second game. He had so many chances, but he could not convert. But he played a really amazing attacking game. I've shown that on my channel. You can check that out as well. But now we are into the Blitz, and the thing is that this is the third game of the Blitz, where first game was drawn, second game Pragg won, but Pragg needs to win two games on demand, and that's never easy, and that too he has to do with the black pieces. But if he wins this game with the black pieces, then again with the white pieces he might be able to try something in the next game. So let's see what he does. And this is Blitz, we're not going to overanalyze it here. Just e4, we have c5 by Pragg. Always when you want to win, go for Sicilian. Knight to f3, knight to c6, and bishop to b5. This is the Praggnanandhaa R attack, and here e6, going for this very amazing line, because you might be able to get a decisive result out of this. He just castles knight g to e7 and just rook to e1, and here knight to d4, immediately going for that. Knight captures c3 in this position, and just going for this a6. And you might be wondering here, I mean, you have an amazing advantage in this position, that you can just capture after moving the bishop back. Wherever you move the bishop, you can just capture, get a very nice center, or maybe you allow the capture, still you'll have the very nice center, more developed pieces than black. So how is it good for black? Well, the thing is, sometimes in Praggnanandhaa R, where most people are not actually aware of the lines, you tend to blunder more, because here bishop to f1 was played, which is the best move, but now just comes knight to c6, a4, taking up more space, bishop to c5, but now just comes b4. And now in this position here, bishop to a7 was played, but just b5, and here just knight to e5. And in this position, what you're supposed to do is just play d3, and your position would be fine. You could also go for a move like a5 in this position, even then your position would be fine. But the thing is that, and queen to h5 is also a nice move, but I mean, you don't want to move the queen early on out of the way. But the thing is that the move that Maxime played in this position is not a good move. He went for c captures on d4, and the thing is that this doesn't work. Here bishop captures, and now your rook is under attack, and the idea that he had in his mind is basically this. So he tries to get the rook towards there, and maybe then play queen to h5 and tries to create some chances, but it's very difficult to try and do anything here. The move that you want to play in this position is knight to c3, and after queen to h4 you play g3, and after queen to f6 you can see that there's a lot of trouble here, and it's going to be difficult to get out of this, let's just say that. But after this bishop caps on d4, here rook to a3 was played, but now just comes queen to f6, going for the same idea. And the thing is that, how do you even defend in this position? I mean, there is no equal way, no even a way to defend this. Here rook a to e3 was played, and the thing is that, I mean, I don't want to play a move like rook to e2 in this position, because if you go for a move like rook to e2 in this position, then you already know you're in a lot of trouble, because then a captures comes and you cannot capture, because this would be hanging. So maybe you move the rook here, but the trouble with that is, now I can just create a pass pawn just capturing this, and then you're gonna have to maybe develop the knight. I can just simply castle and my position would be absolutely fine, and there's nothing you can do about it. But here after rook a to e3, I mean, if you capture this, then the thing is that your position just completely becomes worse, because after rook captures we have queen back to d8, because you have to get out of the way. And now just comes f4, knight to g6, and you can see that the center will be really amazingly placed, and this is also coming. I mean, you don't want to survive this. But here rook a to e3, a caps on b5 was played, but now just comes bishop caps on b5, and now here just castles bishop to a3, and now just going for this rook to d8. So what does white have in this position? A very nice bishop pair. But the thing is that you might just lose the exchange, and on top of that your rooks are not that decently placed. Yes, this is coming, but I mean, right now you cannot play this because of this. So maybe somewhere along the line when it does happen, you could have some trouble, but right now black is the one better, and black is the one who's in the driving seat. Here just knight to c3 was played, now just comes b6, and here just queen to e2, bishop caps on e3, f cap just finally grabbing that exchange, bishop to b7, and here just rook to f1, attacking the queen. And you could go for the best move in this position, which is not that difficult to spot, but I mean, it's a move that doesn't come to mind, because queen to g6 is the best move in this position. Because the thing is that after bishop to d6, attacking this, now you play this f6, and f6 is, I mean, very unorthodox, because what if captures? I mean, what just captures and edge captures? I mean, how are you doing anything? Because yes, this is a threat, but unless you're able to capture that with the pawn, and knight is currently defending it, so how do you do anything in this position? The thing is that if you capture bishop caps on e5 here, then after f captures, yes, you are controlling this, but how long can you control this? Because here you have to move the queen somewhere to get it active, and if you go for c4, let's say you play queen to c4, then this rook a to c8 comes, and once the queen goes to b4, now trying to just press here towards the queen side, I'll just play rook to f8, and you cannot even trade if if you trade, then just rook comes in. I'll be control of this entire file. Queen can get here and your position could completely collapse. Let me show you a line here. Rook to d1, you play bishop to c6, and if you don't want to trade, you have to play this bishop to d3. Queen to f6 comes, and yeah, you don't want to play this. You definitely don't want to face this with the white pieces at all. So here after this, maybe h3, but after this king to h8, bishop to c7, I'll just get the rook out of the way, and yeah, my position is very nice, and definitely Pragg will enjoy this. But after rook to f1, here he played queen to g5, and queen to g5 is not the same as queen to g6, and the thing is that it's a very subtle difference, but there is. Here bishop to d6, now just bishop to c6 was played, and here just h4, attacking the queen, and that's the problem. Here queen to g3, but just comes d4, and now here knight to f3, a beautiful sacrifice here by Pragg. He's definitely in the driver's seat, but he wants to convert this. Here queen caps on f3 was played, but here just queen caps on d6, finally grabbing that bishop. Queen caps on f7, and king to h8, and seems like here you have some sort of an attack, but how do you do anything in this position? Rook is guarding the entire file. You cannot even remaneuver the bishop to try and do something here. Knight is so out of the game, it's not even funny. But here in this position, just e5 was played, trying to attacking the queen, but just queen to a3, and queen to a3 is the best engine recommendation, and Pragg is now +4 by engine evaluation. He's completely winning, but the thing is that both players are playing on seconds here, and it's very difficult to find the right move. Here bishop caps on c6 was played, d captures, knight to d1, and now just comes this rook to e8, and rook to e8 is not a good move. The move you want to play is so simple in this position. The move that you want to play is rook to f8. Any person with just 5 seconds on the clock, and definitely a grandmaster like Pragg, can find rook to f8, but he must have something in his mind to be able to play this rook to e8. He was down very much down to the clock, but I don't think he should have played this, because hey, there is nothing. You move the queen, rook captures, king captures, just this, and I mean, there is absolutely nothing in this position that you can do. You cannot even try to do anything in this position. If you go for a move like king to g1, maybe you can, just sack the knight, but if you try to save the knight with king to e1, then just comes rook to f8, and this is coming. What do you do in this position? You cannot even go for a move like that, because then if you go for this, then just queen captures, and yeah, I'm just either playing this queen captures here with a check or something like that, and your position would be completely funny. So here queen to f6 is the only move that engine is recommending, and just this is just sad here after g captures. So there is nothing you can do. But after knight to d1, here rook to e8 was played by Pragg, and rook to e8 does not work. Here queen to c7, queen caps on a4, and now just queen caps on b6. Queen to c2 was played, but here he's giving little by little, he's giving away his advantage, and definitely he's down on the clock, but he needs to capitalize and win this game. Otherwise he'll be out of this tournament, or out of the winning chances, and he's gonna have to fight for the third place. Queen to b2 was played, asking for a queen trade. If you trade queens now, the thing is that then your position just completely collapses, because the central pawns are very good in this position. And yes, you'll be an exchange up, so maybe you can try there, but it's very unlikely. Here rook to a2 was played, now just queen caps on c2, rook captures, knight to f2, and the thing is that here rook to e2 was tried by Pragg, rook to c1, and then move that you want to play in this position is as simple as rook caps on e3, and then you can win. Because the thing is that rook caps on c6 is a bluff, because here after h6, now you play king to h2, king to h7, rook to d6, and here after rook a to d8, yes, even sacrificing this, because if you capture this rook to a2, and there is no way knight can go anywhere in this position. You cannot go here, because this would be coming, and there is no defense if you try to go here. I'll simply just move the rook back, and now I'm not only attacking your knight, I'm attacking the 2 pawns as well, and your position is about to crumble, and there is nothing you can do. And here if you go for knight to d1, rook to d3 comes, and your knight is just hanging. There is nothing you can do. Next, one of these pawns are hanging. This is a complete meltdown of the position. But after rook to c1, rook to c8 was played, and protecting this just doesn't work in this position. Here rook to c3 was played by Maxime. This is the best engine move. And here h6, knight to h3, and rook to b2 was played, but just knight to f4. And now here Maxime has capitalized, and there is nothing you can do. King to g8 was played, knight caps on e6, king to f7, knight to f4, king to e7, h5 was tried, but now just comes this rook to b7. Now Maxime is even better, and here king to f2 was played, rook b to c7, king to f3, rook king to d7, king to e4, and c5 was played, but here just d5 in this position, rook to b7. It's just very difficult to stop those 2 pass pawns now, and a lot more moves were played in this position, but there is nothing you can do. King to f5 was played, c4, now just comes e6 check, king to d6, e4, king to b3, e5 check, king to c5, but after rook to c1, rook to f8 check was played, but this king moves back, and these pass pawns are impossible to stop. There is nothing you can do. c3 was played, but just knight to d3 check, king moves, and now just e7, rook to a8, d6, rook to b7, e6 now. And I mean, once they've reached there, I don't think you can do anything here. Rook to b6 was played still, but now just comes knight to e5, checking moves, and it was on this move, on just move 55, that Pragg resigned the game. And with that, he is unfortunately out of trying to go for the first place. Now the first place is gonna go whoever wins Caruana versus MVL, and that's gonna happen tomorrow. And there's one more Blitz game that's left in this entire thing, but unfortunately, I'll just tell you right now, for those of you who don't want to hear the spoilers, you can just pause this, pause and exit it right away. The thing is that Pragg tried to push for a win there as well, but he lost the game, and unfortunately he's completely out of it now. But he can try and get the third place, and with third place you are not only, I mean, gaining some FIDE rating, but maybe you'll be able to try and you'll be able to get a third spot in Grand Chess Tour finals. You'll get the invitation as well. So he'll definitely be trying that against Levon, and I'll be covering a few of the games there as well. So yeah, thank you for watching. I'll be coming back with such amazing games, so stay tuned to the channel, stay updated, and I'll be seeing you guys very, very soon. Thank you very, very much for watching.